There we go. Nice and loud. Maybe a little too loud. Where's my mic coming in? Mic is coming in, mic. Let's turn that down a little bit. All right. Hello there. My name is Anthony Barocas. Ooh, I can do this. There we go. And hide this. Here for StreamTEK. And today, nope, move that out of the way. I got three different ways of doing titles. Today we are talking about the streaming gear at NAB 2024, and there was a lot of stuff there. Streaming is basically full force, everybody. Hey, Mike Sabatini in LaSalle, Illinois. If you're just tuning into the show, love to hear where everyone is watching from, and if you have any specific streaming or NAB questions, throw them into the comments. I am getting comments from Twitter, Twitch, LinkedIn, Facebook, and YouTube. So I'm getting 6 different channels are coming in today. And that's why I'm using Restream, is to get all those different channels. Ooh, I should hit record. Record. Start recording. All right. As I mentioned, today we're talking streaming gear at NAB 2024. And if you haven't already seen, let me change here and go to here. On the YouTube channel, there is a whole new playlist for NAB content with 21 videos that I filmed on the NAB show floor. And that's 20 different highlights and one walk around. And I'm going to apologize now for the audio from the walk around because it was my first time using the Insta360, and I was going to show that camera. Where did I do with that camera? There it is. I'm going to go get it. So yeah, I have all these different videos from NAB, and oh, here's. And all of these videos were filmed in a new manner that was, well, new to me, at least. But I had tested it here in the studio and found that it worked pretty well because it was just me. And so I was using this Insta360 camera. And it has, if you're don't know what Insta360 is, they do these, you know, they capture 360 degrees around a hole, even closer. So it's got a lens on one side and a screen for adjusting settings, and then there's a lens on the other side. And it basically captures the entire sphere. It's a point in space that captures everything. So if I am talking to someone else, I'm capturing a picture of me, and I'm capturing a picture of them, and I'm capturing what's on the table, and whatever we might hold up or things like that. So it's really cool. And then on top of this, I had a light that I looked around. There doesn't exist a 360-degree light. So I had one that kind of would illuminate 180 degrees, but not really that well. So hopefully I talked to a couple lighting vendors, and maybe in the future there might be something. But I use this, and then special thanks to DJI, who supplied me with the microphone. So this I bought. I'm just being full disclosure. I bought the Insta360 camera. They did not provide it. Purchased it with my own money, and this is the previous model. They came out with a new one. Instead of having 5K, it has 8K. And I asked them to let me use it at NAB, and they said no. So that's where that stands. So I purchased this, I purchased some extra batteries, and that actually worked exactly like I hoped. And I was able to film and release all the videos on the YouTube channel with that. And the DJI microphone, I'm going to give them a plug because they provided this for me to film at the expo. And let's go to this and go to overhead. And this is the kit, and in here is the receiver and the 2 transmitters. And the nice thing with this, it's a little chonky, I will admit, it's a little chonky, But this also records internally and has the windscreens if I needed it, and has this really nice touch screen on here, so that when you want to access something, you just literally swipe down. Oh, sorry. Maybe I got to turn the mic on. No, I should be able to get to. There you go. There's the settings, and then you can use the little roller dial to go between the different. And then if you want to enter something, you push the button, and then you're in, and you can scroll through all the different settings. So I felt this was very easy for me because I only had a couple days to figure this out. And I know Rode makes a very good system, and a lot of people use the Rode, but DJI was kind enough to provide this for use on the floor. I was able to clip one on me, clip one on whoever, record split track in the Insta360, and then I was able to do these interviews. Let me click on the bird dog one in the show floor that highlight each of the guests. Sorry, that's playing in the background there. Let me turn that audio down. And I'm going to skip the ad. Here, laptop. So I was able to do an interview like this. So this is the Insta360. I'm able to get the two shot. And then when I want to get a shot of just, this is Dan, the CEO of Bird Dog, that's the same camera. So I'm able to punch in, reframe, look around, look at what he's talking about, come back out, and that worked out really, really, really well for NAB. Now, DJI sent this along, but I had to buy a little adapter to go into the Insta360 because I was going in analog. DJI has, the Insta360 says that you could actually use earbuds, AirPods, Bluetooth, but I don't know if that means both. Like I hand one to a second person. I don't know if that's the case. But so shout out to DJI for providing that because it worked really well. And in one instance, the audio was completely overmodulated in the recording on the Insta360. And I was able to recover clean audio from the microphones and drop it in, and it worked beautifully. So the idea of recording double sound, or basically a backup, audio in the microphones and audio in the actual camera that's recording, the camcorder. I recorded both, and in that one instance where the audio was just too loud and kind of distorted, I was able to replace it with clean audio from the microphone. So, win. So again, if you're just tuning in, welcome everyone to the show. I'd love to know, if you haven't already told me, where are you watching from? Because I know we have a worldwide audience for these shows. I'm happy to be back here in the studio. Last week we tried to show from the NAB show floor. I was in YOLO Live booth. They were gracious enough to let me use all of their equipment to do a live show. I didn't carry anything for doing a live show to NAB. I carried an SD card with my logo. But other than that, I didn't carry anything for live show. So I was completely dependent upon someone being gracious enough. And YOLO Live did that. And that show was, the excerpt from that show is just uploaded for Friday on the StreamTEK channel. So you can catch that. And lastly, if you were at NAB and I didn't catch you down there, I apologize, but I did see a lot of people on the NAB show floor and they got these cool glitter stickers. So if you got a glitter sticker, shout out in the comments. If I missed you, I apologize. It was hectic, and there's South Upper, South Lower, Central, North was closed, and West Hall. And West Hall was a hike from the other hall. So there was a lot of walking around. I think I did 20,000 steps on one day, so that's a lot. But if you have any streaming questions, let me know. We're going to quickly go through some of these videos here. Julio says hello from Atlantic City. And Mike Sabatini says hello from LaSalle, Illinois. Jules says hello from New York City. Liked your chat with Frank, but was hoping they would have an upgrade program of some kind. Too bad. Yeah, I know. It's one thing. It's like, I don't really know any company that has an upgrade program. Like if I bought a Bird Dog camera and then Bird Dog comes out with a new camera, like they did, there's no upgrade program for the Bird Dog camera. And it's $1,000 camera, just like the Viola box. If I bought the Insta360 version 3, the X3, and they come out with the X4 at NAB, which they did, I'm out of luck. Thanks for your purchase. There's no upgrade program. If I bought a DJI microphone, it just goes around. If you purchased the GoStream, let me do this right. Yeah, here we go. If I purchased the GoStream, and at NAB they talk about the new version with SDI, there's not a trade-up program. So that's not a very common thing. Maybe your reseller, if you purchased it through a reseller, might allow you to trade it back in and upgrade you, and then they can sell the other one as a demo. But because there's a problem for where whoever receives the product is that, well, what do they do with the old product that's used now? They can't sell it as new. Maybe they could sell it as B stock or demo, or it's used. So pretty much the typical trade-up program is eBay, is selling off your old gear, or use it as a backup. Good day, really enjoy your videos. Thank you very much. In Australia, it's probably got to be 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning, so kudos to you for staying up. And that's all of the comments we got so far. Thank you all for tuning in. If I saw the count jump up and down. If you're new to the stream, hey, I'd love to know where everyone's watching from, and if you have a NAB question. Philip says, the GoStream SDI is not on their website yet. That's true. And if you go to the video that I did at their booth that shows the SDI version, and we talked all the way through it, I went to put a link to it, and it's not available anywhere yet. So really, it's an NAB show floor, and I guess some people. I am working on a review of this for Streaming Media Magazine, which is a magazine I write for. If you are in the streaming business, you can subscribe to Streaming Media Magazine. And if you go online, it's a different mouse. Getting a little cluttered here, sorry. If you go on here, there's a website for Streaming Media Producer. Let's go over here. And here, I'm tapping it. This is where the review will be for the StreamTEK SDI model. Now, the cool thing, which we discovered in the interview, and if anyone hasn't seen that, we can just scroll down here. OC has their own video. Everybody has their own video. I can turn off the closed captioning. I can maybe skip. No, I can't skip the ads. So let's make sure that volume is nice and low, because you don't need to hear ads. There, now I can skip it. And I'm there at the booth, and it was really cool that they revealed to me that it's not like the ATEM Mini. ATEM, you purchase either HDMI or SDI. What OC is doing, not only do they have the preview and program bus, you get both HDMI and SDI. For HDMI and for SDI in the one switcher. And then in the menu, which you can access on the switcher, which is one of the things I really find innovative about this, you can choose for each input. Input 1, HDMI. Input 2, SDI. Input 3, HDMI. And then he says that he's also going to include the NDI license included with this. So input 4 could be NDI. That's just, like doink, amazing, I think. So I'm excited to dig into this. There is, we're working with them on the review, and they are refining the features. They are refining, and there are firmware updates coming out. So that is one of the reasons I don't think it's retail available just yet. So that is part of the review process behind the scenes. The same with this. There's a review of this that's going to be coming out on Streaming Media. I actually finished it before NAB, but the editors at Stream Media have been busy with NAB coverage. So, but this is new. It has an e-ink display on there. Check this out. So even without power on, there's no power, there's nothing in here. It tells you what well, that's not really the IP address of it, but that was the IP address when it was last plugged in. But it tells you like the statistics for the actual bird dog. And that is very cool. And it is the first bird dog which has Wi-Fi built in, as well as Ethernet, HDMI. So that is a very cool thing as well. Philip, if you combined with a StreamTEK so you could switch the routing on the fly and have 8 inputs at a time. Yes, he actually did mention that. Very good, very good. He did mention that with macros, you can, or a companion, you can see right there on the table, right there, he's got companion running. And he's got a laptop for control. So laptop software is coming out, companion compatibility is coming out, and you can do a macro so that you can, on the fly, switch an input between SDI and HDMI. So technically, it's like holding a shift button down. You know, some Panasonic switchers back in the day, you know, you'd have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So you could, on the fly, switch between HDMI and SDI per input. Hit the macro, input 4, hit the macro, input 3, hit the macro, input 4. And I think that's going to be an 8-input switcher with 4 buttons. I mean, it's not as easy as an actual 8-input switcher. Like I have the ATEM Mini Extreme ISO sitting next to me for the multiple sources for this box over here. But it's definitely going to be very convenient and powerful. And he's targeting under $400 for this thing, which I find pretty amazing for the amount of tech that is crammed into the GoStream. I would have maybe named it something different since it's a StreamTEK. I guess they took the deck off, so now it's just GoStream, which I guess is a good thing, you know. But yeah, definitely they are working through this, and he really has a plan. He's very specific in what he's doing, and they're very specific in the firmware updates as well. So I really appreciate that with the OC Go. And again, this is the, if you haven't seen these videos already, there are 20 videos over here on the website. The OC, I was very, very impressed with, and I am really looking forward to checking out the video mixer in a review. And continue up here. Yeah, that's the end of that video. They're very short, so you can watch a bunch of them. You know, here's the bird dog is. Another ad. Hey, there's my camera. That's the X4. Thanks. Maybe they know that I used the Insta, so they're tagging in there. But the bird dog cameras, in addition to the PTZ, they have this. They call this the Makai, and that is available, as you can see right over here, as a standalone box camera as well. And those are both in white and black, introduced at NAB just last week. Coming down the line, I stopped at the Saramonic booth. I hope each one does get it. Oh, good, yay! And Saramonic has these really cool microphones that you may have seen, you may not have seen. They've got little liquid crystal displays in them, so you can put a logo on there. You can put artwork in there. He's thumbing through pictures in there. I don't know why you put pictures in a microphone, but in terms of being able to put the StreamTEK logo in there, and I did that at one point. I held my logo. I said, man, I should have put my logo on there, and we should have used those for the interview. That would have been really cool. But that is innovation. I liked seeing innovation outside. Like, there's dozens and dozens of 2.4 gig microphones out there. You know, everybody's got one. DJI has has one. I did a review of a full aim one, and I do have one coming from YC Onion, and I'll just give them a plug here. This is the entire microphone kit in my hand. YC Onion, microphone 1, microphone 2, and the receiver. That is the whole thing, and it fits the whole thing. Both transmitters and the receiver fit in my hand. So if you're doing iPhone streaming and you're doing iPhone communication, there's cables in here that will both power this device and then go and power your phone as well. And it's got a USB-C on here, so you can go C to C and go right into the new iPhone or an Android device. And there's your receiver providing the audio. Here's 2 microphones, and they're that big. They're super tiny, and they don't have a big logo on them, which is something I really like. They do have plates, so you could just do that. There you go. I'm mic'd up. And when you're done, you put it back. You put it back on here. It'll charge the microphone back up. That is innovation. That is something you don't typically see, a microphone that small. Although I do know Polyland has one as well. But in addition to I'm moving the wrong mouse. In addition to the microphones that have screens on them, he also had continuing. Oh, that's still the screen one. He's got this kit over here to the side that has four microphones, because every other microphone on the market is 2 transmitters, 1 receiver, which is great for me and you. But if I need to interview 2 people, that's a total of 3. And 3 is more than 2. Now you could get 2 kits of 2 and then use a mixer and or they have this kit right here that has 4 microphones. And the receiver can either give you a mixed output or can give you 4 discrete channels with 4 XLR cables or 4 output cables. And you could run that into an audio mixer, or with the mix, you could run it right into your camera and be able to have 2 people at a booth and 1 person. Or he says he does it for corporate things where it's business, where you just want to go here, sit down, you can all talk. I don't have to worry about a microphone. That's super key. Let's see. I am plugged into the Ethernet, so I am sorry if it's all choppy. I'm not seeing choppy here. Did YOLO happen to mention an upcoming update to clean up the numerous existing bugs? He says they, hold your horses, they are working on it. Let's go over here. The OC Go Stream just released a beta version update that supported, let me pause this, that supported PC control and companion control as well. Yes, that was what he was showing at the booth, in the OC Go booth, and that was very impressive. They really seem to have the software side figured out, and given the fact that they've sent me one for review and they are still working on it and it's not publicly available yet, it seems to me that they are making sure that the software is fully solid before it goes out to the market and is available retail. So audio is still choppy. Yes, very noisy and choppy. Actually, let me listen. Make sure it's not happening here. 1, 2, 3. Oh, yeah, I hear it here. Why is that? Oh, let's try this. Do. Yep. That is, nope. I still hear it here. I wonder why that is. And it's only when I'm talking. No. I'm hearing it even when I'm not talking. Where can I do this? I'm trying to figure out where I could run another microphone really quickly and see if I can switch mics. Hang on a sec. But thank you for commenting and letting me know. So I'll take this out. I'm going to plug a microphone directly into my switcher. Put this down a little bit. Yeah, I can still hear it pulsing. And see if I can. No, not that one. This one. 1, 2, 3. Let's go here. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, and 3. Let's see if I can amplify this a little more. Delete. 30. It didn't work. 3, 0. Done. Nope. I am trying to type in 30, or let's just try 20 dB of gain, and it's just not changing. Great job. So what is the point? Here we go. 20. You gotta adjust it in another place too. 2, 0. Point. Hello, hello. There we go. Well, that sounds cleaner. So thank you all for waiting. Ooh, now I can hear myself. Thank you all for waiting through that. I don't know why the other microphone input is coming in choppy at a regular interval, but this sounds cleaner in the little bit I have been listening. It is okay now. Audio is good. Thank you very much. Again, this is a dialogue. I appreciate you being there watching the show. I appreciate you letting me know that the audio is choppy so that I can go figure it out and quickly wire up a new microphone, because this is live. We're doing this real time. Anthony, listen to your audio. Cracking noises. Turn off audio and plug. Turn audio. Okay, so we're good. Apologize again for the choppy audio, because that's exactly how it's been hooked up for like 2 months, and now all of a sudden it's choppy. Go figure. So as I was saying, I do liked the Saramonic. Let me get rid of that one. I do like the Saramonic 4-channel wireless microphone, because it allows you, in many cases, when I need to interview 2 people at a booth, or you're doing something where you've got 3 people in front of you or 4 people in front of you. Yeah, updates probably. Red Carpet Media Group says updates, LOL. Could very well be. But I know it's not Restream, because that didn't change, and it's not anything else. So very interesting that it would be the microphone going through the A10 Mini, which is coming through the HDMI 2. I don't know why that would suddenly have a problem. But now I'm going microphone in to the YOLOBox Pro directly, and the YOLOBox is powering the microphone, and it has 20 dB of gain, which it shouldn't need 20 dB of gain if it's got a microphone input, but be that as it may. We have audio, and it's working. So continuing along with the talk, Saramonic has these 4 microphones right here. I can make this a little bigger, and it won't. 4 microphones, 4 transmitters, and then 4 outputs. It's not just mixing it all down. I think that's a key thing. It's a chunkier receiver, but it's still not multiple receivers. It's not 4 receivers. It's 1 receiver that's got 2 sets of stereo outputs. And you could then run that into an audio mixer. You could run that into a multi-channel recorder, an audio interface box, or whatever, and you don't have to worry about it. You get 4 discrete channels, or if you did want to mix it down to an iPhone or a streaming appliance like this, you could take the stereo mix down of mono of all 4 channels, and then just go with that. And I think that is a very cool tool. Colbert, I stopped by this booth and I thought these lights were very cool. Colbert, as well as others. That's one of those things where you don't really know who is the core manufacturer of the specific thing. When you see multiple companies have something that is very similar in design, you wonder whose it really is. But Colbert had this light. It is just tiny little handheld thing. It's like this. It's probably as thick as my hand, and is 100-watt bicolor COB light, and not necessarily a streaming tool, but we need lights. I have 3 lights in the studio, and this little thing, you can pack 4 of them. What, 1, 2, 3, 4. So you pack 4 lights in this much space. 4 100-watt lights in this much space, and then a little bit longer. And they got a grip. They've got this handle that is a big battery pack and everything. And it was very impressive in terms of the fact that it's small. It has a mini mount, but then they have a mini 2 Bowens, so you can put any sort of diffuser, softbox, or anything you want on there. And I was just like, I've got a chonky light, I've got this, big fat light, and it is a beast to transport. So I was looking at these and I was saying, for someone who's doing mobile journalism, these things would be awesome. Got a comment down here. If you're ever in Miami, I'll be your assistant. Please let me know ahead. Thank you. Hey, that'd be cool. If I ever do travel, and I think there's Worship Facilities Expo used to be here in Dallas, and now it's moved to Tennessee or something. So I don't know what particular expos or conferences might be down there. Philip says, I have a DJI mic, but 3D printed handheld mic that the DJI mic fits into. This way I can have the host on a lav mic and a handheld for multiple guests. That's the other way to do it too. Yes, I have one of those. I don't know if I purchased the Rode one or a third-party one, but yes, that I've done that as well. And those are all actually a really good idea, because when you're interviewing someone or when you're speaking with someone, it visually tells them in a very definitive way, I'm talking now. Now you get to speak. You're done speaking. I'm talking now. Now you get to speak, very visually, as opposed to just having them run on and on and on about certain things. Because I did have a couple booth interviews where the people talking just had so much information to relay, they just kept going and going and going. And it was hard for me to get a question in and direct the conversation. So, being able to so now that I have the microphone pointed at me and that you're not talking anymore, let me ask you a question, type of thing. So that is a very useful tool. And then, like you says, if you have multiple guests, you can go one person, the other person, or they could move it between themselves, although sometimes they don't do it. And I have seen instances where people might have I'll just use this remote as an example. They have a microphone and then they start using it to point, because they're used to pointing at things. And so handing over a microphone is sometimes not a great idea. Usually it's okay, sometimes not. But thank you for chiming in. Continue over here. The Colbert lights I found very innovative. You can see one sitting right here. It's a light. The whole thing on the back is a fan. Then up here is the diffuser. But the light is just so small and thin. I was just like, man, I want a stack of these that I could just toss in the bag. And if I need light, I have it. Again, not a 360 light. That would have helped me for NAB, but it was very cool. That's interesting. It just popped out there. Small rig lights. Thank you, Mint. We're going to run all these ads. Sorry, you weren't even looking at that. Here we go. Small rig. I went to the small rig booth, and small rig has tons of stuff. And I have a lot of small rig stuff, little mounts and brackets and adapters and good stuff. I will say that I have been happy with everything that I've purchased from Small Rig. However, I have not purchased electronics from Small Rig, but they have a lot of lights in this booth, starting with this 30-watt little spotlight. But this 60-watt right here was very impressive in terms of being bicolor, dimmable, internal battery, external battery, and you can put a diffuser on it because it's got a Bowens mount right on it. That was a very nice light. And then they've got the 1 and the 200 or the 160 or 120, whatever it is, and then the 240. They've got the bigger lights that are chunkier. And you look at this 60 and it's still a box. So when you look at the Colbert light that's like this big, it really does make a difference between carrying this in your bag and carrying this in your bag. Carrying a couple of these and that adds up. But these lights, again, small rig has some really good stuff, and I was happy to take a look. And then you can see down here on the table, I took this like 400-watt light and I just I'd put it down here because that, for what I was talking about at NAB, I wanted to cover more about the small portable lights, not this big chonky with a adjustable Fresnel, focusable Fresnel on the front. So you can look at that if you're looking for some lights. If you are in the streaming world, give me another. Oh, good. Went right to it. I got to talk with Mevo Joe at the Mevo booth table. Yeah, that's a little distorted because it's like right there in front of us. So I had to pull way back. So it's like a fisheye. But you could, again, I'm shooting everything with the 360. So depending upon where I had the camera, I might be able to get both people. Sometimes not. But the Mevo Core is, I don't have one. It's like a cube. It's a little bit longer than this. It's a cube. It's a box. It's a micro 4/3 box camera. And it's kind of like the Blackmagic Micro Studio. And they both work in such a way that they have ecosystems that you're buying into. It's not just, I'm buying a micro 4/3 camera, like Young and No, or whatever it is. It's not a standalone device. Mevo already has an ecosystem of other cameras and a multi-camera switching, streaming, producing app. So when you get the Mevo Core, you're getting the micro 4/3 camera that works in this ecosystem. And it's an NDI camera that has HDMI out. So you can use it in other spaces. You could use multiple core cameras with vMix or Wirecast or a NewTek TriCaster, things like that, because it's an NDI and HDMI. It'll work with anything else, but because the Mevo Core is part of the Mevo ecosystem, if you already have start cameras and you already have the app and you're already using that for production, but you wanted to have a longer lens or you wanted to have shallower depth of field, a nice studio look, now all of a sudden they have a camera body that will do this, that will provide that for you. And they had some there with, nice shallow depth of field lenses, and it was looking really, really nice. Comment comes in. I still have the Roland VR1 HD, new in the box. That's a good switcher. And I think Roland has continued to do updates with that for new capabilities. Oh, mid-roll add. 2, 1, skip. Let me come over here and skip this. We're probably going to see a lot of those because of the top video. Let me go do that one. The Mevo Core. If you haven't already, and go to the NAB show floor walk around. This one was filmed with the Insta360 camera, and if they don't show an ad on here, it'd be kind of crazy. But you can see there's this little pan tilt zoom, so you can actually grab this and move this around to look at me talking and look at whatever I'm talking about. So this is live, not live, but you're able to move this video around with your mouse and look at whatever you want. So if you want to look at the Nikon booth, if you want to look forward, if you want to watch me talk about the different things, you can do all of that. If you wanted to look straight up, you can see the light that I had on top of the stand. If you wanted to look straight down, you could see the microphone cable that could not be hidden because I didn't have the discrete microphone holder clip thing. So the microphone cable is in some shots. But that is something that you can play around with in YouTube, and like you're on the show floor, you're able to look where you want to look. So that's probably why Insta360 is like hooking onto that and putting their ad. Next up is the YC Onion Pineta Pro. I think she says Pineta Pro. I say it with there's a Spanish tilde over the end, Pineta Pro. They have a monopod. I reviewed a monopod for Streaming Media, tripod for Streaming Media Magazine, where they have one latch you flip up at the top and the entire leg. Two other sections can extend and contract however you want. With this one, they've put a handle on here so you can like quickly get it to the height you want. It was amazing. She let me use it for like one interview. I think the interview with Joe at the Mevo booth was actually done on the Pinetta, and it's a little higher, which is great than what I was using, and it's very stable because it has a nice wide base to it, and the base had the ability to be offset. So if you have uneven ground, you can tilt the monopod so that it's level with gravity, not the ground, which I found very easy. And the top can go out, and you can see a set of feet over here. You can put this top mount into the feet over here and have a really short tabletop tripod. So this is not out yet. This is another thing at NAB that does not exist as a product. It is not on their website. So yeah, I was able to provide actual hands-on videos, walkthrough videos on products that you can't see elsewhere. So that was really cool. But I like this. I asked her to to let me take it with me. After having used it, I was like, this is really great. When can I get one of these? And she was like, they're still refining it. They're still like maybe adjusting where the lock switch is and everything. So again, it's not available, and eventually it'll be a product on their website. And I look forward to snagging me one of these because this was really nice. I liked it a lot. Hollyland. If you are doing streaming, Hollyland, which is big in many different aspects in the production industry, from comms to wireless microphones. I mean, they've got a whole selection of stuff. But what I was talking about here is they've got this little camera, this what do they call it? Venus Live, and it is a horizontal or vertical. It's got mounts on both sides, and it does live streaming built in. It's got an SD card built in. It's got an Ethernet port built in, and it is an optical zoom, not a big zoom, like a 4x. I didn't get the exact measurements, but the thing is that the box camera is coming with a lens. The lens is integrated into the camera. Now, on the other side, you can't put the lens you want on it because there's one built into the camera. On the positive side, when you spend the money, it's usable right out of the box because the lens is integrated into the camera. And so it's like you're buying a camcorder, but it ties into streaming because it has the streaming capability built in. So it's not like you're buying just a camcorder that just records or has HDMI out. It's actually a streaming engine built into it. Unlike the Mevo Core or the Blackmagic, however, Hollyland does not have a streaming ecosystem that you're buying into. This is like their only product like this. But it was just very interesting to see. And she was pointing to another one back there that has a newer version of the firmware. So they're working on revising this and adding new capabilities. And it was interesting where this fits into the Hollyland ecosystem, because there's not a selection of other products. Now, maybe they are getting into the streaming end of products. This could be the first of many things. And then Hollyland will come out with an app for multi-camera streaming with their Venus cameras. Maybe they'll have a bigger camera with a longer lens, or an interchangeable lens like the Mevo Core. I didn't get any information about that while I was there. Let me catch up on some of the comments here. Hello from Puerto Rico. Noel, good to see you here. Mevo has a subscription plan for the iPad switcher, which I don't care for. Yes, Mevo had a subscription plan. Switcher Studio has a subscription plan. Cinemaker has a subscription plan. TerraDeck, when they were making live to air on the iPad, that was a subscription plan. The only one that's not is Top Director. It's a one-time purchase of 100 and something, and then you get to use it as much as you want. So you can either pay a little bit every month, or you pay a lot once. Either or, but a lot of models are going to subscription because what that does for them is they're not having to constantly go after new customers. They can say, if you are happy with the product and you keep paying me, I will keep developing it for you, as opposed to saying, oh, well, everybody bought it once. Now you're all using it forever and you want more features, but I'm not getting any more pay to keep working on it. So I have to keep going after new customers, which means I need to do something different for them, not you. It's you think about it in a circular way. It actually makes more sense to have a low subscription and a lot of customers, so that if you're providing what those customers want, they will stay with you, and then you listen to those customers and continue to build the features that they are asking for because they're your paying customers. An amazing device for events like that. Yes. Did happen to see the Feel World L4 switcher at NAB? It has a sweet 10-inch touchscreen with 2 XLR inputs and 1 SDI input. I did not see the Feel World L4 switcher at NAB. I did not even see the Feel World booth, I don't think. I must have gone right past it because I was through most every hall at least twice. Central Hall was really big. And West, I did not get all the way through, so maybe they were in West. But there was a lot of halls, and there's a lot of aisles, and a lot of rows, and I wasn't able to get everywhere. But I did get to 20 booths and do interviews, and then of course, doing an interview at a booth takes time because it's like you have to go there, you have to wait till they're done talking to who they are, you have to get the right person who can speak about that product, and then you do the interview, and then there's some talk afterwards, saying, okay, so how can I connect with you after the show and everything. One booth I went to 3 times to get an interview because the first time I went, it was 2:00. The person hadn't eaten. Okay, you go eat. I come back a second time. He hadn't eaten. I circle back around later. He's not there. I get an interview with somebody else. So time just goes real fast when you're on the show floor. So did not get those. There's a couple that I definitely missed. I wanted to get Epiphan. It's got their little Pearl Nano and stuff like that. There's a couple of them that I really wanted to get to that I just didn't get to. But thank you for the question. Continuing on here. So they've got this cool little camera. I interviewed her about this. It's interesting. I wonder where it's going. I really wasn't able to get information like, what is this ecosystem? Because buying a standalone little streaming camera like this, I don't know if everybody just wants to get one streaming camera, because you could use your phone for that, especially at the $1,000 price point, Whereas if it's going to be part of an ecosystem and you can multi-camera it, then it's something a little bit more. We talked about the OC already, so that's the OC GoStream SDI, which if you missed it, just circle back to the beginning. We talked about the OStream SDI, which I have right here. It's not available on their website yet, and that will be a review coming up in Streaming Media Magazine. Over here, the SproLink. I'm guessing the SproLink NeoLive RC2. They already have a NeoLive switcher. This is the RC2, which is bigger and more powerful and has more inputs. And no, I'm sorry. That's the RGB Link. This one is very interesting in that it's got the T-bar. I'm not big on T-bars, but it's got the T-bar. It's got all the capability. And then he's got other products on the table here, which were also very exciting in that thing back there, that little tablet, it's like a YOLOBox Mini 2-input switcher with multiple capabilities. And it's this teeny little thing. Very, very 2 HDMI inputs, kind of like the Director Mini, which I happen to have right here. I got to see this on the show floor, and Magewell was there, so I was able to talk with them about this Director Mini and have really good conversations with the actual engineers who make this thing. Because sometimes, when you get a product and you're like, there's this one thing that's just really getting me. If you could just fix this thing, it would be so much better. Like one of the things I said with this, and I was talking to the engineers, I says, this is great. I like this a lot. But one of the things that gets me is it launches right into a show, essentially. There's no project page. If you come out here and you can say, here's my show list. It'll show whatever shows I want. But I'm saying, as opposed to going right into a show, it would be nice if it came up with, went into a page that showed me my projects. Like I use Adobe Premiere, and Adobe Premiere does this. You launch Premiere, and it says, these are the 5 things that you were editing last. Which one of these do you want? Or you can create something new. That's kind of what I'm looking for here. I just wanted like a list of things, that one, and you go back into your show. That's what I was interested in doing. Let me turn this again. So what I've got here, yes, you have to select it, I guess, is this is live. It's actually connected to my camera, and it's connected to another camera. And Magewell was showing off the fact that this is the OBSBot Tiny. And now you have the ability over UVC, over USB connection, this connection right here, USB, not my HDMI connections, but over USB, I can move the camera, and then you can store presets. So I can say this is preset 1, and then I can zoom in. There it is, it's auto centering. I can say this is preset 2, or store preset 2. Store preset 2. There you go. And say go back to preset. Oh, did I not say store? I probably didn't say store. Come back out here and say store preset 1. And then preset 2, go to preset 2. Yeah. We'll go there. It's not going there. Sure. Do I have to tap it twice? Nope. Okay. So it's not doing it. But they're building the OBSBot PTZ API into the Magewell Director Mini to work over USB. Not just NDI, but USB, which I thought was really cool because OBSBot makes an app that you could run on a computer to do all that. But when you're on an all-in-one device like this, you're not able to run that app. So they're building it in, which I thought was really cool. So being able to like move it around, and there you go. It's centering. So maybe it's got the tracking. Does it still work like this? Or is it like this? I don't know. Not working. That OBSBot camera is just not listening to me. Even when I say, or do I have to use my other hand? Zoom in. Oh, there it goes. Now it's listening. Zoom out. There you go. It doesn't like my left hand. It only likes my right hand. Very interesting. So that was seeing Magewell at NAB was good because we're able to like talk to the engineers, see what their plan is, see where they're looking at going. I tried to press them and see if there was going to be, since this is called the Mini, I says, is there a Magewell Director Pro, Maxi, Studio, whatever you're going to call it? I mean, a lot of the names are kind of used up already. So, this is called the Director Mini, and YOLOBox has a Mini. So I could just imagine YOLO Live is kind of annoyed that the, Mini versus Mini. And then if Magewell calls the next one the Pro or the Ultra, I'm certain YOLO Live is going to have an issue with that. So they have to come up with a name that somebody else is not using. But still indicates that maybe it's the bigger one for HDMI inputs or something like that. But I couldn't get an answer, so I got nothing to report back to you. I'm sorry. I tried to get Magewell to tell me, so do you got a bigger one on the way? Because you called this one Mini. So is the other one coming? And they did not answer me. I tried, but nope, no answer there. Let's go back to here. After SproLink, these are actually not in the order that I filmed them. They're just in the order that I edited them off of the cards. I was in the Rode booth and, Rode table. I kind of figured Rode would have a bigger space, but they were part of the B&H booth, or B&H was big. B&H was sort of like a pavilion, and then a bunch of manufacturers were in there with them. So it was a collaborative thing. But Ryan here for Rode was showing me some of the latest things, and we actually used the Rode microphones to do the Rode interview. He was very insistent upon that. So when you see him wearing the Rode microphone in this interview, there's a reason for that, because they make microphones and they didn't want to be doing the Rode interview with a DJI microphone. So that's why the microphone is different in this instance. But he's talking about the handheld microphone. He's talking about solutions for iPhoneography. You know, this little thing, you can just clip it right in there and have all your accessories right there. And that was very cool, as well as their mixers. These new microphones can be wireless directly into their newest mixers too. So they've got the streaming. They're really getting into the streaming world with streaming accessories at Rode. Next up, I caught the Nearstream, which was something that I have seen advertised a few times, and I was really happy to be able to stop by. Here we go. And so this is the Nearstream. They make a couple different products, but the biggest one I think that they're known for is this camera. Again, it's a little box camera, kind of like this. You know, this is the bird dog again, but it's a little box camera, and they have a 20x optical zoom in the camera. So it's a long zoom in the camera, and it has an 8 microphone array at the top, which they talk about, you know, using technology to be able to, like, you know, beamform, you know, and be able to pull a clean audio from in front of the camera without having to have a directional microphone. But you know, all that processing takes away some of the clarity I feel from a microphone. So I wouldn't necessarily rely on that so much for it to be your best audio. But the optical zoom on this thing was very impressive. And of course, they have an app. They have there's an ecosystem behind the camera. So you're able to do graphics, you're able to stream to multiple destinations, you're able to control the cameras from the app. You know, so she's showing off the iPad app there. And the really cool thing is she had that thing zoomed like 20x to like something that was like way back in the hall, just way back there. And it was like super close, and the quality was good. I was very impressed with the optical zoom. I don't think it gets super wide though. I think it starts at like a normal, like what you're seeing me here. It's not very wide, but then the ability to have that 20x optical zoom. So for sports, I could definitely see. So you see me there, and then that thing that's like way behind me. I think in the video, I do actually take a moment in this video here, and I try to show you where that is behind me. So yeah, it's way back here. It's like halfway across the entire hall, and she's got a close shot of this thing in her app. And that's this room right here. It's this room up above, so that people could meet or overlook what's going on in the convention hall. And I was just like, dang, that's a zoom. The very impressive zoom there. Continuing on, KiloView has a whole slew of products. They had a big booth, lots of compression, streaming, SRT, NDI, encoding, capture. They've got a slew of products. But what I did, I focused on their new P3 and P3 Mini. Again, a product that is not available anywhere, but was on the show floor. This is the P3, is available for pre-order. And if you need to do bonding, if you need to get into the KiloView system, ecosystem, the modems and the cards are upgradable. So you can pull out a 4G modem, replace it with a 5G modem, pull out a 5G modem, replace it with a 6G modem. So this is a big piece of hardware, hot swappable batteries. This is a big piece of hardware that you invest in. Yes, it's probably, I think, $2,000 or something, $1,500, and you get to keep it for a long while because you're able to upgrade the technology. That right there was auto tracking in the Insta360 app to be able to like follow this thing around. And it's very well built. It's got the big screen on the front for both accessing the menus and also checking your video. It's big enough that you could actually critically see and look at the video. And the P3 Mini, which is not available anywhere yet, is an all-in-one SDI and HDMI, 3 internal modems, Wi-Fi, Ethernet, and 2 USB ports. So you could do 5G, you know, from a USB input. So you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. You got 7 different sources that you can bond on this little device. It's amazing. Now, the screen's a lot smaller. The video window is even tinier, but it was just a very impressive bit of tech. Now, the P3 Mini is an upgrade from the P2, and with the P2, you had to invest. Did you want an SDI model or an HDMI model? And if you picked HDMI and then you needed an SDI, it just didn't have SDI input, so you had to use a converter or different device. With the P3, they just said, let's build both ports into this device, and then the user can pick which port they're using. That's really smart. It's a minor addition in cost and a huge increase in flexibility for the end user. So this thing can sit on top of a camera, on the back of a on-shoulder camera, and you're pretty much able to get a signal through with the multiple sources. And then on that screen that you see, that I'm pointing to there, they have a cloud server. So KiloView offers bonding, but they don't charge for bonding. How do they do that? They give you the software so that you can set up your own debonding receiver, and it will accept all these different signals, recompile them into a stream, and then send it where you want it to go. But as I said in my bonding video, you have to supply the computer. You have to supply the IT know-how. You have to supply the internet connection. You have to supply the power, the cooling, the updates, the maintenance, the UPS, and all that stuff. You supply all of that. So you're not paying someone else for it, but you're paying for it either way. So the bonding server here, they were showing that he could just click a button and he turned on NDI, and there's the latency from the P3, that camera right there, through the cloud back into their own server, and it's quarter second or something like that. That's very, 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 very short, I thought. And that was KiloView with their P3 and P3 Mini at NAB. I'll take this moment now to do a little self-plugging. If you are new to the channel and you're watching this live show, I have a StreamTEK, go away, I know. I have a StreamTEK page on Facebook in addition to the YouTube channel. So this is where you can see updates and other things. There's also a StreamTEK group. So if people wanted to join the group and have discussions that aren't beholden to any other company or product, it's just sort of like an open discussion about streaming technology, you can join the StreamTEK group there. And continue along the line, I write for Streaming Media Producer. And over here on the left of the screen, if I get this right here, you can sign up for newsletters that come directly to your email. So you don't have to remember to go to the website or get things. They'll come right to your email, like once a week. And you'll get updates on new videos that are posted, new articles that are posted, the new conference that's coming up in New York City for streaming media. And then continuing down the line, if you're looking for consulting, I do consulting, you can reach out to me. Let me close this at stream4.us. There's a contact page right there. So you can contact me on the contact page. And then continuing down here is the StreamTEK YouTube channel. And if you haven't already subscribed, please subscribe. Love to have subscribers, love to have views. And as I mentioned at the top of the show, we have just added the NAB playlist with all these videos. There's 21 videos right here in this playlist. The vertical shorts, we have some pullouts for the vertical shorts. The conversations series, so we're speaking to other streaming producers, and we just have a conversation about things. Live shows, you can see all the live shows here. Technology explanations is where we talk about gear and things like that. And the gear demos, we talk about gear. Technology explanations is sort of like where I explain what is the cloud, what is NDI, what is SDI, like different things like that. So we talk about the technology, but not any particular product. And then over here, the gear demos is more about very specific products. So that's all on the StreamTEK channel. And as you can see right here, it's red because we're live. So thank you all for being here. Next video up is StreamTEK. If you are a Mac user, actually, let me jump back in this video. If you are a Mac user, there's a lot of good streaming software for Mac, whether it be Boinks, Mimo Live, Wirecast. I'm drawing a blank now. There's a couple others that, OBS and Streamlabs. And I'm sure there's another one that I'm missing, but there's a Mac Mini with Thunderbolt. It comes over here to a bridge card, and you can put in a honkin' capture card right there. It's like an eGPU, but built into a one rack unit device that has one power input. Yay! Which makes it easy to travel. And then over here, if you've got the studio can connect to this Sonnet box all in one rack unit. And this box is actually two separate PCI buses. So she's got two Thunderbolt cords on two separate Thunderbolt buses that are each taking in 4 inputs over Thunderbolt. So that's an 8 input capture over Thunderbolt to the studio. And then she's got 2 of those there. So that is very cool in terms of Mac users. Mac users do streaming. It's not a PC only thing. Although TriCaster and Vizert is PC based, and the vMix is PC based. Wirecast from Telestream, although we'll see what happens with Telestream in the future. And with Wirecast in the future, but Wirecast is Mac and PC. Boinks Mimo Live is Mac only. OBS is Mac and PC and Linux. So there's a lot of solutions out there. Hey, if you do, let's throw a question out there. If you do live streaming on a computer, what is your app of choice? For me, it's vMix. I use vMix. I also do have a TriCaster, so technically I use TriCaster on a Windows machine, but it's a purpose-built machine. But standalone on any machine or a laptop I have, I use vMix. But what do you use? A comment comes in. Have you had the opportunity to witness Pixel Scope in action with their Pixel Cast camera system streaming table tennis action, all seamlessly controlled by AI? I did walk past that, and I did see it. I didn't think it was particularly well covered. I didn't like the coverage pretty much because it wasn't very reactive. It was sort of anybody can switch between multiple wide shots. That's not really a bunch of AI. It's sort of like, let's look at this wide shot for a minute. Let's look at that wide shot. Let's look at this wide shot. And table tennis is not really a whole lot. You can't really get in there and follow the ball. It's not hockey. It's not basketball. It's not soccer or international football. It's not football. It's not any number of sports where you need to actually get in there and follow the thing. And AI has tried to do that, and AI has done a pretty good job. Here, let me stop this one for a second. We'll cover that in a minute. AI has tried to do that, but you've seen the instance where was it Huddle Cam or whatever, was doing a soccer game, but there was a bald referee on the sideline, and the camera kept going down to the bald head because it looked like a ball. It was something shiny and round. Whereas a human wouldn't do that. It would know that's a referee. So AI still has a way to go, and I didn't stop by. I walked past it. I was watching the camera cut a few times. I was watching them play, and honestly, there's not it was sort of like picking the easiest thing you could possibly cover with automatic switching between multiple wide shots, and it happens so fast that they keep just pap done. It wasn't necessarily the best choice to show off a product that's supposed to provide a service like that. So the demo wasn't that great in terms of convincing me that their software does a great job. So yes, I did see it though. Thank you for the question about NAB. Appreciate that. As I mentioned, we have an open question to anyone watching. If you use computers for live switching, what software tool do you use? I'm curious what based on the viewership of this, and you can comment after the fact too. You use vMix? Do you use Wirecast? Do you use Vimeo Livestream? That's another one. OBS, Streamlabs, Boinks Mimo Live. Cinemaker has a Mac app. There's like dozens of apps out there. So I'm curious what you use. So put it in the comments. Again, welcome to everyone who's watching. And if you haven't already chimed in, let me know where you're watching from. I like to know where the viewers are. I like to know where you are, because I'm in Texas. I'll let you know I'm in Texas. And if you have any NAB questions, let me know. I'm just going through the list of places that I stopped at, but if you have other questions like that pixel question that came up, that was a very good question. I did see it. I was not impressed. I kept walking. So, coming down here. Oh, greetings from Barbados. Oh, very much. Thank you much. Aaron Barecki. StreamYard. Oh, Aaron Patrick. Sorry. I misspoke. StreamYard. StreamYard is a great cloud tool. I'm using the other big one. I'm using Restream right now, but StreamYard is a really good tool. I have used it in the past, and I do have an account with StreamYard. So StreamYard is a good tool. It's a cloud-based app for streaming cloud things. It's not necessarily, you're not going to plug a bunch of local cameras into it and switch in StreamYard. So if anybody uses, thank you for the answer. Interested in, like, if you have a Mac or a PC and you're hooking 4 cameras into it for streaming something, what app do you use? Let's continue on with the NAB coverage. Over here, this was Mine Media. They have this R10 bonding video switcher. This was sick. I mean, admittedly, yes, I stopped because it has 6 antennas. I was like, wait, it's a video mixer with 6 antennas. I don't understand. So I stopped. I looked at this thing. I was like, whoa, this is unique, to say the least. This was a unique thing. Let me fill the frame with this. This was a very unique tool. Can I do this? Yeah, let me do this. There we go. Down here, these are not video inputs. These are SIM card inputs. I don't know why they're in the front. It's not like you're going to need easy access to them while you're doing a show, but that's where they were. It has 6 inputs across the top and then 6 more inputs, networked inputs. So it's a 12 input mixer. And then you've got all of these, you have all your sources down here. You get your preview, you get your program up here. I was like, whoa, 12 inputs. That's a thing, 12 inputs. It has XLR cables on the side. I mean, I can't pick it up and rotate. It's not that VR. There was more inputs on this side. Across the back where your HDMI and SDI inputs, I think she said 3 SDI, 3 HDMI, so you get to pick. It did its own tally, so it's on input 3 over here. 3 is red. Over here is 3 is red. So she had their own tally system here. It does bonding. It does streaming. It does recording. And this screen folds down flat, so the whole thing ends up being like this big. You know, it's like a big, chunky laptop. But bonding and streaming built in was like, whoa, that's very interesting. And they have their own camera. Now, this was just one thing in a very big booth. Let me go back to here. They've got, this is a bonding encoder. This is a bonding encoder. That's another, like a smaller switcher. Multiple bonding encoders. That was a bonding thing over there. So Mind Media is not just like, oh, look, we've got this one cool product. No, they've got a lot of bonding devices. So that was like their big thing, was the bonding. Lots of different bonding things to take your video input and then send it out across multiple connections. And that was very impressive. But then this switcher right here was just, wow, check this out. And then scroll, continuing down here, continuing. There we go. So they're able to take in the camera, but then you put their little tally system on top of your DSLR. So whoever you've got, they had their own streaming cameras too. There's their camera back there. So you can take that camera, and it is a bonding streaming camera. So you can send the camera somewhere. It'll come back to your bonding streaming switcher as one of the 6 networked devices. I was just like, wow, okay, here's their backpack device. That was the big chunky thing you saw on the other side. They got this little one, desktop model. They had a pretty sizable booth for a company that a lot of people don't talk about so much, but Mind Media was definitely there to really show off their stuff. And we make this smaller again. So Mind Media was there. Let's come back to our comments over here. Any information on Blackmagic new HyperDeck replay system? No. I don't do much sports, so I'm not big in being up to date on the latest replay. Don Cato says, Salute all. And Canon St. Rose, OBS. I've been experimenting with Prism Live. Yes, that's another new one. You like Prism Live? Okay, I've actually downloaded the Prism camera app. I was looking through at Prism Live. I downloaded the Prism camera app to my Mac to try and fix my webcam, make it look a little better. I stopped using it. It was a little funky and not doing what I wanted it to do. It seemed to do a better cutout with a non-green screen source, but just I wasn't getting good color out of it, so I stopped using it. But if you are on a Mac, I think, and PC, Prism Live is another multi-camera live switching app. And if you go to the video that I have on my channel, like it's 200 and some tips, I go through different solutions that are out there for live switching solutions. But thank you for commenting and letting me know what you use. Again, it's an open question. If you use a computer-based live switching solution, I use vMix. I also have a TriCaster, which is a PC-based. I've tried using Boink's Mimo Live. Very different way of thinking. I have not actually done a production with it, but I have tried to utilize it for video playback, and I just barely figured that out. I have used Wirecast in the past. Not a fan of that multi-tiered layout solution. Different ways of thinking the same thing. There's Manycam. Manycam is out there. I have downloaded that on my Mac and tried that out a little bit as well. But let us continue along. Switchblade is US Broadcast Solutions. Thanks for the commercial. Switchblade is, I'll just skip over here so we don't have to stare at commercials, is a solution from US Broadcast Systems. And they make or they configure custom PCs to do what you want them to do. And I spoke with Eric at the booth there, and they have, they can build, they have a 2-rec unit switcher there that can be configured with multiple input cards. So it's small in size, but big in power. And then they've got this little briefcase thing that can be configured. He says he's configured one with up to 12 inputs because it's got all these slots. So you can have analog audio inputs and your video inputs and your video outputs and your video, GPU for processing, and it's got the screen built in. So all you got to do is plunk it down on the table and start plugging stuff in. You don't even need a rack. You don't need to plug in a separate monitor. You're already there. I'd love to see swing out, give me 3 displays. I just love multiple displays. But that was very impressive in what they've got going on there. And in addition of what they build is they've got this list of apps over here on the left and over here on this card. They can do Xsymmetry and virtual environments and tracking and replay and prompting and all this stuff. So they will work with you. They're like a value-added reseller. I need a PC that will do this is what we're doing, and we need a PC that will do that with ease and cover all of our needs. And they will work with you to configure a solution that will do it. So that was pretty cool. More comments coming in on what we use. Ecamm works well also with a Rode StreamTEK, but you can only have one Rode streamer at a time, so causes headaches. Really, only one Rode stream? I mean, it's like a USB capture device, and I have connected multiple UVC devices to it. StreamYard will accept more than one UVC device. I've had 3 of them plugged into Restream, so it seems weird that Rode StreamTEK won't play nice with other duplicates of itself. OBS and ATEM, but doing a lot of AV over IP these days. Yep, that seems to be the going trend. And ATEM was very big this year on SMPTE 2110. If you want to do AV over IP with Blackmagic, it's SMPTE 2110. They have not touched NDI at all. I don't know why, but No, they won't do it. Maybe because it's a licensing thing and you have to pay for the license, whereas SMPTE is a standard and anybody can build to the standard. So I don't think you have to pay to be SMPTE or use SMPTE 2110, whereas you do have to pay to license the NDI. And now NDI has a certification program as well. So in order to be able to put the badge on a product, you have to be certified and tested and certified that you do actually do what you say you're going to do. You can't just slap it on and say, look, we do NDI, yay, and don't really do it. But the problem with SMPTE 2110 is it's uncompressed video and it's very big. So if you don't control your network and you don't have 10 gigabit Ethernet at the minimum, then you're not going to be doing a lot of video over IP using the SMPTE standard, because you're talking 3 cameras will saturate a gig. 3 cameras, I think, yeah, maybe 3 cameras will saturate a gigabit. 6 cameras, is going to, and then if you get return feeds and everything, it adds up really, really fast, which is why I like NDI. NDI is about 100 to 120 megabits per full HD stream. And that's with full NDI. Then there's NDI HX, which this camera, I just have a review coming out in streaming media, the Bird Dog. This camera is the new Bird Dog X1. It does NDI HX, and amazingly, the HX3 from this Bird Dog was faster than the full hardware-based NDI, the full NDI from a P200, which is one of their earlier cameras. And the whole thing with the full NDI was full NDI is faster. Doing hardware-based encoding is faster. And this new camera out this spring is faster. It's doing software-based encoding, HX3, and the frames from this arrived faster. So that was really cool. Let's continue down here. With the announcement of OC GoStream Duet, did they add ISO recording? It will be pretty much parity with ATEM switchers with fewer iterations. Yes. And as I mentioned early on, I've got the SDI model in for review for Streaming Media. So go check out Streaming Media Magazine, Streaming Media Producer, sign up for the newsletter, and then you'll get that as soon as it comes out. Thank you for my question about the OBSBot Air Bird Dog. With using the YOLOBox Pro Ultra, is it easier to set up the OBSBot over Bird Dog X1? Not really. OBSBot has an app. So you use the app, and you can use the app. I use the app on an Android tablet. Bird Dog uses a web interface. So actually, I was going to say, go to my Bird Dog video. You can't yet. When the Bird Dog video is released on Streaming Media, go to the Bird Dog video, and then you'll see how easy it is to get to everything. It's basically, you just go to the web address of the Bird Dog, and it's just a web page. Oh, sorry about that. And it's just a web page that shows all the capabilities: color, painting, PTZ, presets, your compression settings, everything. Everything that you need to access in the Bird Dog is available over the web interface. And then over NDI, if you have a device like the Director Mini that will, let me go to the overhead. If you have a device like the Director Mini that has PTZ control built in, you could just tap this, and then you can control the Bird Dog. Can I do that? Let's try that. You can control the Bird Dog. Don't plug it in while you're holding on to it, because this thing powers up real fast. I think this is in my... Is it? No, it's probably not plugged in. No, it's not plugged in. Okay, I can't do it. So the Bird Dog will show up just like this, and you can do your presets just like you can with the OBSBot. There's going to be no difference. Very little difference, I will say. And the OBSBot tail air is, you're cropping in on the sensor a little bit, so you don't really have the ability to, like when I zoom on this, I'm just cropping in. I don't know why it's not focusing. Beats me. It keeps jumping to something else. I don't know what it thinks it's focusing on. But this is the little mini. This is the Mini 2. This is not the full tail Air. This is the one over USB. But if you have the ability to do NDI for either of those, your control in a device that has the control is going to be identical. So it's a wash at that point. Excuse me. But with this, you get a 20x optical zoom in HD, and I think that if you need an optical zoom is always going to beat the clarity of cropping in on the sensor. Aaron Patrick comments, main setup for streaming 5 cameras into YOLOBox Ultra, which goes to a Mac, then StreamYard, also Rodecaster 2 for audio, seems to be the most user-friendly. That's a lot of different devices. So you're kind of using your YOLOBox to pre-switch which goes into the Mac. Whereas, like when I showed the, stop playing. When I showed the StreamTEK, you can actually use a capture device into your Mac and just capture right into your Mac multiple cameras. And with a USB interface, you can capture your audio right into a Mac and then use a multi-camera live switching Mac app to do everything. Unless you don't have a Mac that is that capable, and then of course I understand using an external hardware interface to handle that switching and titling and everything for you. I myself, I'm using multiple things here too. So you use what tools work. I'm using a YOLOBox for the picture-in-picture, and then I'm using Restream to give me 6 destinations. So I'm coming out of my YOLOBox capture device into the PC, which is using a web browser for Restream. So yes, different tools. And then of course I've got an ATEM switching what's in the right box. So I've got an ATEM doing this switch, I've got a YOLOBox doing this switch, and then I'm using Restream for the thing. So yeah, I'm all about streaming hardware, because the more of it I can use on one show, the better. Let's continue on with our discussion over here. I got to visit the RGB Link and I got to see their Mini Edge. That is this switcher right here. And look at all of these audio inputs over here. You got audio adjustments for every video input. You've got audio adjustments for other discrete audio inputs. But I think the real cool thing is the PTZ. They've got zoom and focus up here. And then over here, they've got a joystick, a physical joystick that will move your cameras around. And then they've got the on-screen display here. So you can call up your camera down here and preview, move it around, go to a preset. You got your presets down here. And then you've got like a bunch of macros up here. This entire row is user presets for different functions on the device. And a T-bar. People love their T-bars. I'm not a T-bar person, but for those who love T-bars, there's a T-bar. And this is their Mini Edge. So I got to speak with Cooper about this. He was just, very excited about the Mini Edge. And I believe it is starting to be available. So, and Aaron Parecki did a nice video on the Mini Edge already. So it is out there, out and about. And this is their earlier model up here. You can see it's got fewer audio adjustments, and then let's play this a little bit. Maybe he moves his hand. You can see there's audio adjustments over here. There's switching over here. So this one does less, but this is their new big video switcher from RGB Link. And checking over here, no more comments come in, so we'll continue down the list. Top Director. If you are on iOS, don't give me an ad. Another ad. I'm going to let this one play just because I used the Insta360 to do the show. They did not pay me. They did not give me the Insta360. I paid for it myself, so full disclosure on that. But this is Insta360 footage. He and I are both being captured by one camera at the same time, as well as everything we're pointing at. So it's capturing everything all the way around us, which is why I think Insta360 keeps throwing ads in these things. So he's talking about, let's scroll forward here a little bit. So he's got a media player app, so you can play back clips over NDI or output, so you can just play your media clips. He's got a camera app that will also connect to his studio app. So you can see his studio app. He's got preview program. He's got 4 UVC cameras. So like we were talking about that Rode Stream device there, he's got 4 UVC sources into an iPad here, which I didn't think was possible, but he's got. And then he's got all these other inputs as well. So he's got 4 wired inputs and then all the other wireless inputs or networked inputs. And that enables him with this app to do multi-camera switching, streaming, recording, I think just program, not ISO recording. And the big thing was at the show, he's introducing this hardware control surface, which is purpose built for his switcher. And it's got the T-bar. He was really happy about the T-bar. But you've got all these different inputs, and then you've got like 4 macro buttons up here, but not a lot of like, I didn't see a way to like call up pictures and other titles and different things. But it was pretty cool that on the left here, he had, you can't really see it because it's kind of cut off. He had a little scroll wheel. So he's able to scroll up and down in the interface. And when you hit enter, it jumps over to this and you can scroll around here. So it's an easy way to just, you're actually literally in iPad OS and able to move around. Me personally, I think it's still easier just to tap the screen. Tap, 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 as opposed to scroll down, select this thing, or I went too far, wait, go back up one, tap, tap, much easier. But he's got a whole ecosystem that he's putting together based around iOS and NDI. His is an NDI switching application. So if you have iOS and you're looking for NDI switching, this top director is sort of like the big, is the gorilla in the room. We're doing it right. There we go. Is the gorilla in the room because it's going to, these are all NDI sources available to his switcher. And he's got the hardware control surface. He's got a camera app. He's got a video player app, all sort of based around NDI. So that is one of the innovative solutions that I found on the NAB show floor that may not get a whole lot of coverage for people who are getting into streaming and are like, I've got an iPad. And for, I think, $150, I can get this app. It's one-time pay, no subscription, one-time pay, and boom, I'm done. I can buy the control surface later if I want to. I can buy the other apps if I want to. I don't have to. And I'm able to reach out and collect video from any NDI source. And NDI tools available at ndi.video now. Used to be ndi.tv. There's a whole bunch of NDI tools that are available from the NDI organization, whatever, available for free. You can go there and just download them and start playing around with NDI. Got a comment. One of my colleagues picked up an Insta360 X4 at NAB. I would have loved to. It wasn't a secret that they were going to come out with the X4 because they kind of teased 8K. They kind of showed this cylindrical thing and, encased in ice and everything. And yeah, okay, it's the replacement for the X3. And the X3 has been out for a couple years. So it was kind of expected. But I stopped by the Insta booth and I was kind of hoping as press that they could, say, hey, listen, I'm going to be filming everything with my X3 at 5K resolution. I'd really love to have 8K resolution and do all these booth interviews. And, I could put, filmed on Insta360 at the bottom of all the videos. And this would be great. What do you say? And they said, no. They did give some out to other influencers. I'm not that big yet, so I didn't expect to be given one. I didn't expect that. I already had a camera. I didn't need to buy another one. I was all set up to use this one. But I was just hoping to maybe use one on the show floor to film an interview or two so that I could see a comparison, do a comparison between the X3 and the X4. That would have made a good article, but nope, didn't happen. Maybe in the future, maybe next year, maybe next year's NAB will be an X4. We'll see. Is there anything new with the live view? I did see the booth. I did not stop by the booth. They're still very big into their solo. I have not heard anything in news about something new from live view. So I think, consistency and reliability is good. Bulletproof is a feature. It is a feature. So if something is consistent and bulletproof and solid and reliable, then it doesn't, even if you don't have any big splashy new, gadget this year's NAB, being that reliable big source is news enough, I think. But maybe there is something I don't know. I just being upfront, when I don't know something, I tell you I don't know. All right, continuing along, just a couple more to go. That was Top Director. If you're looking for a small box camera, Ada Technologies. Yeah. 3, 2. We already talked about StreamTEK or StreamYard. So I'm at the Ada booth, and they had a wall of cameras. They do PTZ cameras. You can see the PTZ cameras behind him on the other wall. They do security cameras, long zoom cameras, and stuff like that. I was more talking about, listen, if you just need a simple camera to do, you can see all those cameras up there, simple little box cameras that will get you a shot. And, I will say this camera right here that's looking down at my table is an Ada camera. That's the camera I purchased. It's a simple HDMI box camera. And the nice thing is, what I have on this camera is I have a very focal lens. So there's the camera I have, a HD 100A. And it comes with a small lens. It's a CS mount. There's a C mount, and then there's a CS mount, which is even smaller. The chip in there is microscopic, super tiny, but it gives you HD. And what it does, it lets you buy an inexpensive little lens. Yeah, here's one. This, I think, is actually the lens it comes with. Yeah, this is the 4mm lens that it comes with. This is a teeny little lens. I'll hold this up. And there's the lens. There's the back of the lens. It's just, this is the screw thread. It's CS, so it's like 2 centimeters across. And that is the lens it comes with. And I replaced that lens. I took that lens off and I put something on that I can zoom. So if I want something a little wider, I zoom it wider. If I want it more narrow, closer to something that's small, I can zoom it in. Very variable, very focal. Your focal range is variable. This has an adjustable focus on it, but that's it. I can't adjust the iris in this. I can't do anything. It would just adjust the shutter. On this lens, I can adjust the zoom, I can adjust the focus, and I can adjust the iris as well. So I can adjust how bright something is. And having a camera where I can change the lens out is very handy. It's also a very small camera, so that it's not very heavy on the arm that's holding it. So especially if I left this lens on there. So that is one of the key factors too, is that the camera is small and discreet. They also have a couple waterproof ones. So if you want to put up a couple cameras out and it might rain, a small waterproof camera is very cool. So I had a discussion with Ada Imaging. Next up, I stopped by the vMix booth, and I got to talk with them about Zoom integration. And the cool thing with Zoom integration is, that's Heath at vMix. He's one, I think he is the author of vMix. And he walked us through really quick the fact that you can use Zoom as a way to bring in remote guests. Everybody knows how to do Zoom. Now, vMix on the higher tiers has up to 8 remote callers, discrete callers into vMix itself. It's called vMix Call. Yay. But I've had people like, I don't know how to do this. Why can't it just be Zoom? Okay, fine. Now that Zoom has released an API for their service, now vMix can leverage the API to bring in Zoom into vMix as individual callers. So this right here is his phone, and that's his phone right down there, and he's running a Zoom call that times out in a little bit in the video. And he's able to, with that, bring in a caller or multiple callers that all join this Zoom room into vMix as discrete guests. And it gives you all kinds of capability in terms of like discrete audio, mixed audio, and things like that. So if you already have vMix and you have people who just want to do Zoom, this is a great way to do it. Over here you get the chat. You're able to see the entire chat conversation in Zoom and have that open. You're able to see the quality and the meeting and all that stuff. So it is a great integration, and he walks through just very high level how that all works, and it looks very easy to do. But it's not super simple because you have to work within the API. So the way the Zoom API lets you do things is the way you have to do things. So you make the Zoom connection with one, and then you have to add each person as an input from that one piece. You input, which technically, if you're doing most Zoom meetings, there's only 2, 3, 4 presenters. It's not that big of a deal. And then there's even a way you can use triggers so that you can say when Zoom switches who the active speaker is, you can have vMix track that and change the program output automatically, which I thought was really cool too. That part of the API was available to use. So that was cool. So that is Heath in the vMix booth, and I think I got one more. Let's go up here. Live view comes over here. I have never used Zoom. You're one of the few. I mean, when COVID hit, Zoom just dominated everywhere. And they've changed. The Zoom itself has grown dramatically through COVID and past COVID. It used to be like it was free, and then pricing went up. And it used to be like, yes, you could do, you can have a Zoom meeting, but then it was Zoom webinars, and then you can have green rooms, and then you can have other meeting areas, and then they have Zoom events and breakout rooms, and this whole big thing. And Heath says that Zoom doesn't really have in the API, it doesn't do breakout rooms and things like that, so that's not available. So there's still things that Zoom is keeping for itself. If you want to be able to like track breakout rooms and things like that, you have to do all that in Zoom. But if you just want to have a room with a bunch of people and then pull that into vMix and everything, as I have done with Teams and other tools, then having that API available and being able to use a tool where you can control the way the titles look, the picture in pictures and all that stuff, and the backgrounds, and make it look like TV, then that makes it very, very handy. All right, one more, and then we will be wrapping this stream up. Thank you to everyone who has chimed in and watched. Yes, we were in Las Vegas for this. X keys. If you do live streaming with a computer, one of the things you'll find very quickly is clicking on things with a mouse is very cumbersome. So what you need to do is assign things, sources, tasks, macros to buttons, and make those buttons easy to use. And one of the companies that does that is X Keys. I'm waiting until we get a shot of their pile of stuff here again. Let's go there. And there we go. Here we go. So over here, they've got like, here's one. This is good for replay. So you can have all these different functions, and every button can be assigned. Every button can, they've got full color models. These are red and green button models. They've got a jog dial here, which would be good for editing or instant replay for speed. Over here, they've got blank keys as well. So you can design this, they've got different sizes, and then you can design groups of buttons for different things. Here's my input row, here's my overlay row, here's my other thing, and I can put a row of like dead buttons in between so that it's not just a wall of buttons. I can do all things like that. You can see there's purple down here. This is just their big, thing. They've got long rows like this that can be mounted in a rack. At the very top, they even have like little USB ones with like 4 buttons. So if you have, an A10 mini and you've got a computer and you got the software, you can sit there and say, I'm just going to assign 4 macros to 4 buttons. So if I need to change the background behind a green screen, I can blip, blip, blip. I can do a 7-step macro with 1 button, and I just need because there's no like user definable buttons on an A10 mini. And I know I've seen like workarounds. Here's how you can reprogram your thing with this other thing to look at that thing and then do this thing. just use another set of buttons. So they make all these different sets of buttons, and they also have kits that are designed work directly with vMix, with T-bars and things like that, and other software-based solutions as well. So X-Keys has been around for over a decade. So they're not a fly-by-night company, and they stand behind their products. They're very durable, and the software that they have for programming these things is very well thought out and refined. So that is X-Keys by Pi Engineering. You can see their logo there. Is a great solution. Let's see if I'll show you the really teeny ones. There's the really teeny one up there. 4 keys, I think that's 8 keys, 16 keys, or whatever it is. And it's for when you just need a couple buttons. They have solutions for that. And then down at the bottom, they have wall of buttons, for when you need to control a lot of stuff. Yeah, you can go out and spend a ton of money and get like 4 15-key Elgato StreamTEKs, or you can get one, X keys. It's up to you how you want to lay out your stuff. These things don't have TV screens behind them. I'll just leave it at that. But they do have full color models as well. I didn't go around the whole booth. We just stood here and just gave you an introduction to what X Keys offer. You can look them up on the web and find out more about the X Keys. Full disclosure, none of these companies paid me anything. There's zero compensation from any of these companies for any coverage on StreamTEK. And I'm pushing that button. I'm tapping that. Yeah. I just wanted to make it clear that, all the coverage I did for NAB was self-directed. None of the companies paid me anything to go to their booths and do an interview. I covered things that I wanted to cover, things that I came across and walked past. I says, "Ooh, that was like Mind Media." I was like, "Dude, what is that?" I did the interviews myself. I interviewed whoever was on the floor to be able to give me an interview. The vMix I use is mine. It's not like they provided anything for me to cover them at NAB. StreamTEK has provided this for review for streaming media. That's separate. The Insta360 I purchased on my own for coverage. And as I mentioned, DJI, the microphones you see in almost all of the interviews that were provided by DJI for use at the NAB Expo. And my review of the BirdDog X1 is forthcoming in Streaming Media Magazine. So keep your eye out for that. If you don't know Streaming Media Magazine, that is right here, streamingmedia.com. Pretty easy to remember. And then you just click on the producer up here in the bar. It's not here in this bar because I'm already in producer. You can sign up for the email over here on the left. You can sign up for the bulletin, and when reviews, like you can see my YC Onion Pineta Peak tripod review that's got those single latches, you can see that review there on Streaming Media Producer. If you are new to StreamTEK, please subscribe to the channel, watch lots of videos, watch them over and over, put them on loop. There's also a StreamTEK Facebook page where you can discuss shows, give me recommendations on things that you'd like to see, articles or videos or tutorials. There's also a StreamTEK group that you can join and have discussions that is not tied to any particular product or gear or software. It's just StreamTEK. And then if you're looking for consulting, you can find me at stream4.us. There's a little quick quote and a contact form up there if you're looking for consulting on builds and integration. And lastly, if you want to order some gear, you can go to the Video Guys StreamTEK curated store at the Video Guys site. They don't carry everything. They're not like B&H, they're a little smaller. But if you're looking for a YOLO box or PTZ cameras or some KiloView capture stuff, PTZ Optics is there. I regret that I didn't do an interview or a stand-up at PTZ Optics booth. They introduced this new software called Hive. Good name. And what it does is it allows multiple people from multiple locations to reach through the cloud and control cameras that you connect to Hive. And that way you can actually outsource camera operation for PTZ cameras for a show. I can have somebody in Miami moving the cameras in my studio to follow what I'm doing, and I don't have to worry about it. So Hive was it won Best of Show at NAB. It's one of the things that won Best of Show at NAB, and I have to say, it's like, wow, okay, that is something out of the box. That is something that, yeah, you've got NDI tools and you can, share a camera, but Hive is a sort of like, hey, I can have multiple people jump in. I can have multiple cameras. I can have multiple studios, and it's just a hive of activity. Hence the name. So I hope to be able to take a look at Hive soon. We're working on that. We got discussions, and have something that I can report to you on Hive. So anyway, thank you everyone who tuned into today's show. If I go over to the graphics section, my name is Anthony Barocas. I am the Chief Gearhead here at StreamTEK, and as always, I do appreciate you tuning in and being here for the show. I love having people around the world tune in, let me know where they're watching from. And Shame's show is here every Tuesday, 11 a.m. Central Time, whatever that is your time. So if you subscribe to the YouTube channel, you'll be notified, and click that bell or whatever it's called. If you go to the Facebook page, and you'll get notifications when the shows are being laid out. LinkedIn, I'm on LinkedIn and Twitch and Twitter, and so you can tune in on any of those channels. Till next week, I thank you all for being there. Thanks for watching.